A massive third-party developer opens up about Xbox Game Pass and how it's really changed the industry as a whole, but also their experience with the service and if it actually helped them reach a much larger audience. Let's get into what this publisher had to say. Hey everyone, thanks for tuning into the channel. Remember to hit that subscribe button and that like button. The support is greatly appreciated. But enough of that, let's get right into this article where they have direct quotes from publishers and developers talking about how Xbox Game Pass has really changed a lot of the gaming landscape. But most of all, we have quotes about Sega and how they really have enjoyed a lot of their games on the service. Now this might be a little weird to some people considering there's still people out there that hate on Xbox Game Pass. We've had made up stories saying that developers don't get support if you play their games on Game Pass, or that Game Pass is for low quality games that no one really cares about. But after the 18+ million people that have subscribed to the service, those people are starting to fade away, which to be honest should happen because Game Pass has become the most important service in gaming and the most important service to Xbox and maybe even Microsoft. So let's get into this article and let's start it off right with what the title says. Sega, we're really happy with Xbox Game Pass results and hope Microsoft is too. So right off the bat, we know that Sega has had a few games on Xbox Game Pass, and there's also been rumors that Xbox was in talks to purchase them. But for this video and this article, let's just talk about what Sega has done with Xbox Game Pass and how their results show that putting their games on there is a pretty big success. Let's continue with the article and what it had to say. Xbox Game Pass continues its rise as the closest thing to Netflix in gaming. Earlier this year, Microsoft said that the subscription service, which now also comes with optional streaming through xCloud technology, hit 18 million subscribers, a 3 million increase over the figure reported in September. Okay, this number of 18 million subscribers is something that's confirmed by Microsoft and Xbox. It isn't this made up number, and it isn't people that are signed up for $1. And a lot of those $1 deals are gone now, and most of these people, if not more than half, are paying full price for Xbox Game Pass. And from the people I know that have the service, they're paying full price already, and they have only one version of Xbox Game Pass. They either have the $10 version that's just on PC, and that's all they need, or there's the people that have the ultimate versions, like me, who have an Xbox and a PC, and they like to play on both of them interchangeably. That's just something I have to get off my chest, because this narrative that Xbox Game Pass is $1 was shaky at best. And as time goes on, it becomes a non-factor. But let's move back to the publishers and developers like Sega and what they had to say about Xbox Game Pass and if it's helped them actually grow their games. Here's what the article continues to talk about. What do publishers think about Xbox Game Pass and its impact on their lineups though? Speaking to Eurogamer on the topic, Sega SVP of Commercial Publishing Anna Downing said, "We're really happy with the results and we hope Microsoft is too. Ultimately, they wanted quality titles. We wanted to take advantage of great new opportunity. Xbox Game Pass helped propel the 2 Point Hospital franchise to over 3 million players worldwide. That's a huge benefit of being on Game Pass. It strengthens the exposure you get to a huge first-party audience. That surge in engagement in turn helps to further establish your product in the marketplace. It's great for us and it's great for consumers who get to experience something they may not have engaged with outside of the Xbox Game Pass model." So there's a lot to dissect here because what Anna Downing says is very true. Xbox Game Pass has been proven to not only give gamers more games to play, but it's given them the opportunity to try games they would have never tried before. And that only helps developers take a risk on a game they might not feel is ready for a general audience. It helps developers take a risk on a game they would have otherwise not tried in the past. That's something that I find extremely exciting when it does come to Xbox Game Pass. I've seen and tried so many games on that service that it's quite refreshing to play a game I would have not tried before. For example, one of those games is The Medium. I'm currently playing that game, and I have to say, I would have never bought this game because the horror aspect of the game doesn't really draw me towards it. But since the game was on Game Pass and it was marketed as a game that takes advantage of the new Xbox Series X hardware features, I was more willing to try it, which I did, and I'm having a blast with it. In fact, it's been one of the cool surprises to me this year, and that's all because of Game Pass. So when I hear a developer talk about the engagement being a huge part of the game, that makes sense to me. Yet don't think developers are doing this out of the kindness of their hearts. No, Xbox is either fully backing them and giving them a massive paycheck for them to put their games on the service, which is something that Phil Spencer mentioned months ago when he talked about Xbox Game Pass and how developers make their money from it. That sounds unmanaged, but it's really based on the developer's needs, he said. A smaller to mid-sized developer might be starting a game and say, hey, we're willing to put this in Game Pass on our launch day if you guys are willing to give us X dollars now. We'll create a floor for them in terms of the success for their game they know they're going to get in return. Spencer noted that in some cases, Microsoft pays for the full production cost of a game's development, but still allows developers to generate more revenue by taking their title to retail, even for other platforms, including PlayStation, Steam, and Nintendo Switch. For them, they've protected themselves from any downside risk, Spencer explained. The game is going to get made, then they have all the retail upside. We have the opportunity for day and date. That would be a flat fee payment to a developer. Now, as you can see, Xbox is always in constant contact with developers to see if their game is a good fit for Game Pass. And from what we've seen from Sega, EA, Ubisoft, and of course Xbox Game Studios, pretty much every single game is a good fit on that service, especially games that take a lot of development time, games that continue to drop content in them, games like Destiny or Division. And from what I've seen from Sega, you can tell they're using Xbox Game Pass as a testing hub for their games and are willing to drop games in there because Xbox is willing to give them money for that game. It's a symbiotic, beneficial partnership for both companies, as you can tell from the games Sega has put on the service, which the article points out here. To date, Sega has released several titles on Microsoft's service, including Yakuza, Phantasy Star Online 2, Alien Isolation, 2 Point Hospital, Endless Space 2, Streets of Rage 4, and more. Would the publisher build games specifically for a subscription service like Xbox Game Pass though? Downing didn't rule it out. Our strategy over the last 9 or 10 years has been to deliver games that are supported with content for the duration of their lifespans. If you look at the Total War games as an example, Creative Assembly has a plan for each of those games that will see free and premium content released over a period of years. Can that model work within a subscription service? Absolutely. Would we specifically develop games with a subscription service in mind? Potentially. It really depends on how the offerings evolve over the next few years and what consumer demand and expectation is. This is the most telling aspect of this whole thing. It's that Sega is potentially debating to make games for a subscription service in mind. That to me shows how successful and profitable this whole service is for not only Xbox, but for everyone that gets involved with it. We've seen plenty of third-party developers put their games in the service and praise how it's helped launch their games to new heights that they never would have saw before. We've seen first-party studios talk about the success it's given them to franchises they didn't know would be successful. One being Sea of Thieves, which is one of the biggest games in the history of Xbox, and that huge success is in part due to Xbox Game Pass. So yeah, of course developers and publishers love Xbox Game Pass. It's because Xbox and Microsoft are deeply invested in it. And the main thing they needed to do is invest in its third-party games and games in general. So developers are more willing to contact Xbox and say, hey, we have this idea for a game and are willing to put it in Game Pass if you give us this amount of money for the production costs. That right there is invaluable because Xbox is willing to do that because they're making money every single month from Game Pass. And I know I've talked about Xbox Game Pass on this channel a lot, but honestly, it continues to blow me away, and I'm happy that it's something Xbox isn't flirting with anymore. It's a service they're fully behind, and I'm happy that developers from all over the gaming world love it also. Let's hope this continues, and we see even more huge third-party developers and publishers put their games into the service, because that only benefits us, the gamers, for one low fee of a subscription service that's pretty awesome. But enough of what I think about all of this. Tell me what you think about all of this. Will we see even more third-party developers use Game Pass? Has Game Pass become a test hub for the industry? How successful can Game Pass truly be? Is PlayStation going to try and make a service like this? What other service even competes with Xbox Game Pass? Does this make you want to get an Xbox Series X next-gen console? Does it surprise you that publishers and developers love the service? Go down below and let me know. And I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, please hit that subscribe button and that like button. The support helps out the channel more than you know. And give me a follow on Twitter at Zalker87. I'm always on there talking games and sharing my latest videos. Plus, I love interacting with everyone there, so get on Twitter and let's talk about gaming. Also, follow me on Xbox Live. My gamer tag is Zalker87, just like my channel name. See what games I'm playing, and let's compete in achievements for the month. So like I said earlier in this video, I've been playing a lot of The Medium. That game is a lot of fun. I've really enjoyed it. The gameplay can be a little wonky at times, times, but the story is really good. And the horror aspects of it isn't that bad. Yeah, there's a couple jump scares in there, but honestly, I've really enjoyed it and I want to see where the story goes. And a lot of the characters are kind of creepy, but cool at the same time. Everything about it, the ambiance, the environment, the sound, are just top notch, and I've really enjoyed it. And since it's on Game Pass, I recommend everybody check it out, especially since it does take advantage of the Xbox Series X hardware, and it really does put top-end PCs to the test. So yeah, check it out. The team behind it is Blooper, and I'm really enjoying that game. But I want to know what you're playing. Are you playing something on your Xbox Series X, your PlayStation 5, or are you on your PC working through your backlog? Let me know down below. I'd like to know what everybody's playing because that's what we're here for, to talk gaming. And that's all for now. Thanks for watching, and until next time, remember, enjoy your gaming. Later.